welcome.
Welcome to Cozy Up with the Stitchin' Sisters. This is going to be a pattern discussion.
Yes.
For the Alberta Rose wrap that you can find on Ravelry.
Yep. Normally with our tutorials, we do like swatches and that, but with this one, it is an intermediate pattern.
Yeah, it is not a beginner pattern.
There's nothing new that you need to learn. It's just following the pattern is what we're going to discuss today.
We're going to talk a little bit about the build, some ways to modify and make it your own. And yeah, so here we go.
Yeah.
This is the Alberta Rose. Let's see it. This is the Alberta Rose wrap. It was just inspired by summer, and you know, if you're around this area, you know that we have beautiful Alberta wild roses that grow, and this colorway is called Alberta Rose. This is dyed by Erin from Fox Fiber, and so I wanted a one skein summer wrap, but
something light that you can wear when it's warm still.
Exactly, and I really wanted something kind of tonal that would show off a really pretty pattern. Yeah. So I'll just show it up here a little bit. This is it. This is a one skein fingering wrap. We'll talk a little bit about how you can modify it, but we've got a couple different panels that you're going to build that start at the very tip. So it's built from tip to tip. So you start at the bottom and you build up the width, and then it's just straight across, working the panels over and over all the way down to the decreases. Okay, so a couple things first. The pattern calls for one skein of fingering yarn. My suggestion would be to find something tonal. Yeah. And with the most yardage that you have.
Yeah, all the yardage.
Get more bang for your buck with this one. So you want, well, I'm calling for approximately 450 grams, I know, or 450 yards. I'd say most fingering skeins run 420 to 460.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. So you won't necessarily run out of yarn because you will weigh your yarn. Once you're done your increases, we have some instructions, and you'll repeat until you have enough yarn left to decrease. That's just to get the most length. Yeah. So you're not guessing like, oh my gosh, do I have enough for my decreases? You're going to know. Yeah. You're going to know what you need. So my suggestion would be to have a little scale. Yeah. One of those kitchen scales. If you don't already have one.
It's a great tool to have regardless.
Go get one. They're not expensive. Yeah. Go to your local Walmart, or we got ours at Canadian Tire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever you have nearby. Scale. Exactly. That weighs to the grams. Yeah. Because you're going to need it. If you've been knitting now, like socks and...
Well, if you've got extra leftovers from other projects, and then you find these little mini patterns that call for 30 grams, then you know you have a 30 gram ball.
Yeah. So that is my absolute suggestion. So get a skein, and you know what? If you want a super long wrap, get 2 skeins of fingering. So I do want to say, I'm actually wanting to knit one of these out of a DK or a worsted. So very easy to modify. You'll just get a little bit wider. You'll get more length, add some yardage.
And at this point in your knitting life, you should kind of know, like, well, I like to knit a fingering weight on this size of needle. Well, I like to knit a DK on this size of needle. So if you like to knit a worsted shawl on that size of needle, knit it on that size of needle. Yep. It doesn't really matter. Exactly. You know how you knit. You know your gauge.
Exactly. Swatch out a little bit. See if you like what the fabric looks like, and go from there. Yeah. So yes, when you start off, everything is, like we said, Sarah said, we're not going to show you stitches.
Because you know how to knit and purl and yarn over.
Exactly. It's very basic. We've got slips.
There's bobble,
There's bobble. Very simple bobble. Yeah. And so we're not really going to go over that with you. But what we do want to talk about is...
you designed this a little different.
Yeah, it is done a little differently. It takes a little bit of intuitiveness, I would say. Yeah. And... yeah, so I'm not sure. We're just going to start right off at the beginning. Yeah. So you'll see there's abbreviations. There's going to be a few sections that say the garter border established, different things. You're going to have 5 panels that you're working up to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And by the time you finish your increases, you will be just working these as established. And so that the instructions are all there. That's your first couple pages. Yeah. Is all of those. But then we do take you through row by row. Your build. Your
increase build.
And I think that is 80, let me tell you, about 82 rows of increase. So that's the build from tip to tip.
So I will say, because I did at our knit night have a lady was knitting this, and I have never looked at this pattern. I haven't knit it. I haven't done anything. And so she said, well, once I get the lace panel set up, and she was going into her Alberta roses setup, and then it says do lace as established. And so you got to watch.
What's this?
So the instruction for lace, the lace panel setup is different from the lace or like Alberta rose setup to the Alberta rose established.
Yeah.
So the established pattern to follow is not the same as your setup.
Yeah.
And that confused me because I was like, geez, she doesn't have enough stitches to work it. But then it just dawned on both of us almost at the same time. We went, oh, like,
yes,
you have to go and follow the instruction for the as established.
Yes. Once it is set up,
it's done.
I've written as established. You will just follow the exact
little bit.
The little bit that's written in the, like, after the abbreviations will be all your as established sections, and then you'll start into the pattern with your setups. So it's just a matter of maybe just looking and right,
and maybe rereading through and notice that there's a setup for this particular panel and an established for this particular panel.
Yeah. So I think
because like I had never read the pattern, so it was kind of
well, that's good.
And we both were,
I'm glad you read it.
You could see it in our eyes, like we both went, oh yeah, this is where we're following the wrong thing.
Yeah. So just being careful.
Yeah.
Then I do have it in bold red. The pattern, like I have a lot of instruction, and then I have in red the pattern starts here. That's where you're going to start your pattern. Everything before that is what you're going to follow once you're established.
Yeah.
Which is very clearly marked.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, even my testers, they have not had a problem getting through
your instruction.
Getting through the instructions. A couple things to note, I guess, would be at the beginning of every row, I have a slip one with yarn in front. Just be notice of that. That just means you slip it off and then you move your yarn to the back.
Yeah.
That you've probably done that before.
If you've knit a pattern of ours, chances are you've done that before.
Every once in a while, I have a slip one with yarn in back, so just note that. Just be careful. They're not all in fronts; they're in back. If you're going to be doing a purl stitch next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I think that's pretty well. So once you have your build established, we're gonna have you weigh your yarn. So weigh
what
at
you
the
have
beginning.
left.
Yeah, what you have left. If you know your grams from the beginning, then you can just subtract it.
Yeah.
But you want to know how much yarn you used.
I'm gonna have a quick sidebar in here.
Sidebar.
Always weigh your yarn before you use it.
Yeah.
Once it's caked, because a label might say 100 grams, but you might have 104.
Exactly.
Well,
you might even have more.
You might even have more,
Yeah,
right? And
I agree.
those couple grams will come into play.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you are trying to use a skein in its fullness.
Exactly.
Right?
So get a scale.
Get a scale and
or get a Sarah who has a scale.
We need two, actually. The scale has walked
do.
around from house
We
to
do
house.
need
Can
one.
you bring the scale?
I need to take my own advice and get a scale.
Yeah.
So, okay, so once you've done your build, you're going to weigh your yarn. And that is going to, actually another thing you can do is, weigh your yarn, mark it down. That is how many grams you will need for it's exactly symmetrical on the other side. Your decrease will be the exact same as your increase.
So if you have 85 grams left, you used 15 grams, you want to stop when you have 15 grams left to do your decrease.
And
or maybe 16 just to be safe.
Yeah. And myself and actually a couple of my testers used about 19 grams. Okay. So that's just a ballpark, but that's fingering. If you're modifying this in any way, you need to know what your grams are yourself.
Yep.
All right, so you're going to work through, once you've done your build, you're going to work through, it is a 12 row, to work through one of my Alberta roses here.
And that's the biggest
which is the biggest lace panel with the little baubles. That is a 12 row repeat, and all the other repeats follow suit. They're 4 rows, I think. So it works out really nice.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, everything is very even. Your row ones start, like it's a really...
It all starts at 1. Yeah, that's good.
You don't need to worry. It's gonna be not so tricky for you guys once you get going. Another thing you can do then also, what I did is I weighed my yarn, like after that I marked it down. Then once I was working my repeats, I weighed out before my 12 row repeat. And I weighed after, and I knew how much it would take me for one of my repeats.
So if you have like 24 grams left and you're wondering if you can get through 12 rows, you know your weights.
Exactly. So, take a couple notes along the way just to get the most length, because it's only a one skein. You've seen me wear it. It's not a giant wrap. It's not a huge shawl. It's a summer scarf, I would say.
Yeah.
It actually wears nicely as a little stole kind of around your back.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Right? For dressy, for heading to the weddings.
It's nice.
Yeah, it is really sweet. But it's not like a winter keep you cozy. Unless you knit it in a worsted. Yeah. That would be really fun.
Even DK. Yeah. Even a nice plump DK.
Exactly.
Would be nice.
It's just a dressy sort of light shawl. All right, here we go. Here's the part. So you get through all your repeats and you get to the end, you're ready to decrease.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was 82 rows of increase. It's 82 rows of decrease.
Easy.
Yes, it is not written out, however. This is one of the reasons why this is not a beginner pattern. We're leaving it up to you.
Yeah.
I've given you some notes, but you are going to simply be decreasing where you are increasing.
So you're mirroring what you did on the other side.
So don't freak out. You're going to continue to work as I think if you look ahead and you go, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Once you've knit the entire length and you've been working your as established so many times, you'll be like, oh, this is so not that difficult. You're going to literally keep working across as established and just decreasing instead of increasing. I have given you a right side, wrong side.
There's a fair bit of notes on the decreases. So
you'll be fine. But yes, we're going to leave that up to you to figure out, because it is just too repetitive to write it all out again. But yeah, I've given you how to work it on the right side. Work as established until your last 3 stitches. You're going to SSK knit 1. Very simple.
Yeah.
When you turn it around, you're going to just work as established to the last 3. Oh, sorry, you're just going to work as established. Slip 1.
Slip 1.
Just like you've been doing. Like you've been doing the whole time.
Yeah.
You will find as you slowly get, you decrease the panels, you will have some things that you're going to have to think about. Telling it now. If you haven't knit it yet, it might not make sense. But let's say in the diagonal eyelets, as you work backwards, you're going to come up to those eyelets and you're not going to be able to do your full repeat. You'll see that. The repeat you've been doing, which is your like knit 4, yarn over, knit 2 together, that you repeat across, you're not going to be able to keep doing that. You'll have to stop and you'll have to do your, which I've written in the notes.
Okay.
So you'll just have to pay a little bit of attention.
Yeah.
We trust you. This is going to be a good learning.
It's a good thinker pattern. Like it makes you actively work the pattern with, not just mindlessly read something and do it.
Exactly.
Which is funny because, well, not funny, but funny because you're a very mindless read pattern person.
Yeah, I know.
And actually, really are.
It was funny.
Not in a bad way. That's not a bad thing.
But I don't. But once it's built, it is mindless.
Yeah.
All I had to do was maybe glance down for the Alberta roses, because I don't remember things as well as you do.
Yeah.
Some have no problem. Some of my testers didn't even have to look at it. They knew intuitively how to do that lace, but I don't. I look at that. But to only have to look at 12 rows and everything else was easy. I had a message this morning from one of my testers who said, there's no way you knit this. She's building it. There's no way you knit this with your 4 children running around. I said, no, you're right. I actually had to sit down and work out row by row for my increase. But again, that is why this is not a beginner pattern.
Yeah.
But it's not
hard.
Tricky.
It's a good, like, going from, if you're wanting to take that step as a beginner knitter into the more intermediate.
I agree.
And thinking through that. Because I know, like, some of our knit night people are going to do it.
They're going to do it. And they are doing it. And they're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Again, YouTube, like if you do come across the abbreviations or something that you're not getting, just look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
You'll find that. But other than that.
Yeah.
So a couple things. You will work now your decreases. Okay. And you're going to work that until you have 5 stitches left. Bind off. The next big thing is that it is super important to block this shawl.
Yes.
You're going to find as you are getting a lot of the shawl knit, that the sections are going to sort of...
They squinch up.
They're going to kind of fold in a little bit because it is like I've got garter, and then I've got a stockinette, and I've got a reverse stockinette. I've got different stitch patterns like in the background. So it's going to kind of foldy uppy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when you block that, you're going to block it out straight. All right. So it's actually the shape of our sister shawl.
Yeah.
But built totally differently.
Yeah.
So you're just going to you're just going to block it straight edges. Very simple to block. But you are going to want to
and I
give
did
it...
pull some depth down just to keep those panels to flatten them out a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to open up your lace.
Yeah.
But you will absolutely want to block this because you'll see that it does sort of fold up.
Wire block it.
Yeah, I would wire block it unless you can, you pin it. It's just lots of pins.
Lots of pins.
But if you haven't invested in wires, I would do that. I actually had a lady comment that she went to her local hardware and got the steel ones that
anything
rust for $10.
That is good with water.
She got a ton of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were just a little bit long, but she was able to, she said, just for a money saver.
Yeah.
Go and do that.
Yeah, as long as they can be wet, as long as it's a metal that can get wet and not rust, you're good to go.
You don't need to spend $1 million.
And you don't want anything too thick.
Or find a friend.
You don't want to.
Yeah. Who has some. Right, Jill?
Right, Jill? Thanks, Jill.
Jill has lent us hers. So that is it. Yeah, I guess I didn't really explain the different sections, but you'll see that. I don't want to give away too much.
It as you knit it.
Yeah. You've got your garter, you've got a couple lace, you've got Alberta roses, and this one. And
I like
then
that
your diagonal eyelets.
Yeah.
So trust the pattern. It will work out for you.
And don't read the non-decreasing instructions until you're there.
Just worry about it when you get there.
Just worry about it when you get there.
You'll be fine. But yes, so if you're just coming across this is the Alberta Roses wrap, and it is available on Ravelry, on our page Cozy Up Designs, or Cozy Up Knits. I think I might have to change the name.
And we also have weekly podcasts as well. So if you're just stumbling across this and don't know us, go check us out.
Subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe. We're
totally fun.
We are half of 4 sisters. We are the two
oldest.
Of the
4. We're the 2 eldest.
I was going to say the bestest.
Oh, we're the bestest. No, we love our little sisters. Yeah. So thank you so much. I hope that just being able to talk about it a little bit, and hopefully this is troubleshoot a couple things, but
or just give you a little bit of confidence, us telling you, you can do it.
You can do it.
It's not hard.
And totally. So we would love to also see your Alberta wrap, Alberta Rose wrap. So you can hashtag it, #Alberta Rose wrap, and tag us on Instagram, Cozy Up Knits. We'd love to see it. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll have a thread going in our Ravelry group for all the talk about the Alberta Rose.
Yep.
I find that helpful. I have one set up for, I think, pretty well all our patterns.
Okay,
so that you can help each other.
Yes.
If you're stumbling into trouble,
go check the threads. See if there's maybe it's been asked and answered.
Exactly.
Or maybe somebody that's knit it.
My testers are great. They pop in and say, give answers and stuff if I can't get in there right away. But so that's Cozy Up Knits on Ravelry.
Perfect.
So we just chatted for how long about this?
20 minutes.
Hopefully it was helpful. And have a great day and enjoy Alberta Rose Wrap.
Happy knitting.